Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Mitch Choppy Show exclusively on the Hardcore Sports Network. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. Let's just get right into it, guys. Let's just get right into it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here today revolving NBA, NFL, and the WWE. But before I get into that, I just feel like I got to talk to you guys on why I am doing the Miss Shotzi show and why this got started. So yesterday, the day I'm recording this, Monday, November 2nd, the day I'm recording this, on the day before November 1st, I woke up and I was like, you know what? I need my own show. I need my own thing on the Hardcore Sports Network where people can come and just see me. Yes, I am on various shows on the Hardcore Sports Network. Cool Cat Mitch, the Pick and Roll podcast, which is on Wednesdays now, which is on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Weekend Wake Up, you see me on the Monday Night Raw Watch Along, the Sunday Morning Show, and stuff like that. You see me everywhere. But the problem is, it's not a problem, it's a good thing to have. I am with so many people involved in the Hardcore Sports Network. You see me with Philly Halftime, Coach Ed, Blaze Radio, Rio's from the Just Fans podcast. You see me with so many different people. But with this, it is just going to be me. It is just going to be me talking about NBA, NFL, and WWE. Everything revolving around those three. And yes, you may see people here and there, but this is just going to be me. I give you my thoughts. I give you my opinions. I give you everything I am thinking about with certain subjects. Everything. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it by talking about the trade that woke up everybody. This trade by the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have traded for edge rusher Jaelan Phillips from the Miami Dolphins for a 2026 third round pick. This is the third trade that the Philadelphia Eagles have made in their bye week. In their bye week, Howie Roseman made three trades, all on the defensive side of the ball. All of them. Michael Carter, a corner, an aggressive corner. Zaire Alexander, more of a depth piece, also a corner. Now, Jaelan Phillips, an edge rusher, an edge that we've been looking for the entire time. Yes, we did get Brandon Graham back. Yes, we do have Nolan Smith back. Yes, Uche. We have so many edges, but with this one, it solidifies the depth. It solidifies the depth in the edge room for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jaelan Phillips, who also played under Vic Fangio back in Miami. To me, that speaks volumes because there's not a lot of stuff that Jaelan Phillips is going to have to learn, is going to have to digest before the next game. He already knows the playbook. He knows everything that Vic Fangio is going to ask of him to do. He already knows everything. So, with that being said, that adds volumes to this trade. He is going to be a free agent at the end of this year, so hopefully the Eagles can extend him. That is the best part. If they can extend him for a couple more years, that would be great. He's only 26 years old, guys. Jaelan Phillips is only 26 years old. That is huge. That is huge. We need a couple more depth pieces. That is why we did get Brandon Graham. And again, I am not for the Brandon Graham signing. I'll talk about that again later. But with Jaelan Phillips, he already has more quarterback rushes than the entire Philadelphia Eagles roster. Like, what was it, 23, 24 to the Eagles 21? That is crazy. That is honestly crazy coming from a guy who has played under Vic Fangio. This is just what the Eagles have needed. And there is a downside talking about Jaelan Phillips. The downside is that his injury history. He did tear his ACL and his Achilles, but that's in the past, right? That is in the past. Can Jaelan Phillips get back to where he once was before the injuries? Like, just him being on that field, being a cheap option, being a guy that can definitely help us going into the season, moving up. We did have some holds on the defensive side of the ball. Jaelan Phillips provides that, fills that hole. Michael Carter semi fills that hole. And then you also got Jair Alexander, who also fills that hole in the cornerback depth. So shout out to Howie Roseman, because Howie Roseman right now is cooking. By the time of this recording, the trade deadline is going to end tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, I believe. That is the time that this is going to end. So hopefully Howie Roseman makes another move. So I am definitely excited for this. I cannot wait for Jaelan Phillips to get on that field next Monday against Green Bay. Maybe we'll get to see Jaelan Phillips out there, and we'll see what he has to offer. And guys, there was a lot of Eagles fans talking about Myles Garrett, talking about Trey Henderson, Khalil Mack. I can go on and on with all these top end edge rushers. Jermaine Phillips fills in that, not Jermaine Phillips, oh my God, Jaelan Phillips. He fills that void. Not void, but he fills in that mold with all those top guys, but on a cheaper option. Now, if we were able to get Myles Garrett, that would be a hefty, hefty pay. Myles Garrett will be asking for a lot of money. Myles Garrett is pretty much a talent that we haven't seen in years, and probably that we're not going to see in the next couple of years. Maybe even 10 years, we're not going to see a player like this ever again. So, if the Eagles did not get Jaelan Phillips today, they could have got Myles Garrett. They could have went all in on Myles Garrett and just be like, you know what? This is our guy. We need this guy going forward for our edge, but Jaelan Jaelan Phillips is gonna be that guy for the edge, and I am so excited for this. So excited. The Philadelphia Eagles got themselves an edge, becomes more of a threat for this NFL. They're number one currently in the NFC, thanks to the Green Bay Packers losing to the Carolina Panthers. You also have Detroit Lions losing to the Minnesota Vikings. So this bye week for the Philadelphia Eagles has been great. Couple losses here. The Giants lose. The Commanders lose. I'm going to talk about Jalen, not Jalen Phillips, Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders in a little bit. I'm going to talk about them and what just happened to Jaden Daniels and that gruesome injury. But the Philadelphia Eagles have gotten stronger. The defense looks better on paper. We just got to wait and see how these guys are going to fit with these other guys on the team, the adjustments that's going to have to be made, and all that. What is the best part about this edge room, this edge rushers room, is that you can plug and play. You can plug and play. Now, with Nolan Smith back, that adds a dynamic edge rusher. Adds a dynamic. There is another problem, however, with not Jair Alexander, Campbell, Jahad Campbell. This is gonna make him like lose a couple snaps here and there, part of his growth. But if the Eagles are going all in on a back-to-back Super Bowl, you gotta let this guy come in. You gotta let Jaelan Phillips come in. You gotta let him play to the best of his ability under Vic Fangio and see what this team could be cooking it for this season, for the rest of the season. So again, the Philadelphia Eagles have traded for edge rusher Jaelan Phillips, 26 years old, from the Miami Dolphins for a third round pick. 2026 third round pick. Now, is that our pick? Was that the New York Jets pick? I don't know. I don't know. It depends on what pick. If it was our pick, perfect. If it was a Jets pick, you know how bad the Jets are. I'd rather not trade that pick. I'd rather have the New York Jets, keep on stinking, keep on losing, and that pick becomes more valuable. So this is honestly very good scenario, very good situation for the Philadelphia Eagles. So Jaelan Phillips, welcome to the team. Welcome to the team. All right. Now let's move to the NFC. Actually, no. Let's stay in the NFC East and let's go talk about Jalen Daniels, a quarterback from the Washington Commanders who actually got beaten by the Seattle Seahawks. The Washington Commanders as a whole, they have been not as fun to watch compared to last year because, last year, Jaden Daniels played an unbelievable rookie year. They made it to the NFC Championship game and lost to my Philadelphia Eagles. And then now you look at this Commanders team, there's injuries left and right. They're the oldest team in the NFL by a large margin, And then Jalen Daniels getting hurt for the third time this year. He got hurt 3 times in the same season. That is honestly crazy. And who's ever the part of the coaching staff to have Jalen Daniels out there at that given moment, you gotta be gone, bro. You gotta be gone. Jalen Daniels should not have been out there knowing that he got injured twice. And then now you put him back out there. His arm gets dislocated. It's like the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. Ooh, that was so gruesome. Jaden Daniels. Hopefully he's good. Prayers up to Jaden Daniels. Hopefully everything will be okay. But the Washington Commanders as a whole, they are not looking good compared to last season. Now with Jalen Daniels here or being injured, pretty much cut the season. Pretty much just cut it, man. I don't see Jalen Daniels coming back. I see him pretty much done. I would not even put him back in. If he does come back in, it does add fuel to the fire for the Washington Commanders to try to make a wild card spot. But I don't even see that happening, honestly. I don't. The NFC East is weak. You have the Eagles pretty much number one seed, said and done. You have the Giants, who lost a lot of players this season. They two big players. They lost Scadaboo and they lost the wide receiver, Malik Neighbors. So they lost two crucial players. And then the Dallas Cowboys, we all know. Dallas Cowboys, right? I don't see them like they could make the wild card. There's an argument there. But with the Commanders, if Jaden Daniels actually comes back, I think they'll take the wild card and the Cowboys will be bounced out. I don't see the Cowboys making the playoffs at all. I don't see that happening. I don't see that for the Giants as well. So the Washington Commanders, Josh Harris, Magic Johnson got a lot of itch to work out. They got a lot of itch to work out. And with that being said, man, the Washington Commanders play the Eagles twice. They play them twice. The third to last week and the last week of the NFL season. So those two games against the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be so important. It's going to be beyond important for these teams in the NFC race because if the Eagles lose one and the Commanders win that one, there could be a little standings, rivalry. Anything can happen with those games. Anything can happen in the NFC East. We know that it's the best division in football. We know that we know that. So with the Philadelphia Eagles playing the Commanders twice, Jaden Daniels is going to have to come back. The Commanders are going to have to try to overcome these injuries. Terry McLaurin got injured a couple times this year. So they need a lot of help. The Commanders need a lot of help in order for them to stay upbeat in the NFC East. They need to do a lot. A lot. So yeah, prayers up to Jalen Daniels, man. Hopefully everything is okay. And Coming from an Eagles fan, with them keep on losing, with the Commanders keep on losing, I love it, but not for the cost of injuries. No. You hate to see players get injured, and there's been a lot of injuries this year. A lot of injuries in the NFL. Like, I could talk about Tyreek Hill, I could talk about all these injuries, but that's all part of the game, man. That is all part of the game. So let's see what the Commanders are going to do with Jalen Daniels. By the time of this recording, there hasn't been any breaking news yet, to my knowledge, like nothing. But if there's news happening, I'll keep you guys updated. Keep you guys updated on that. So yeah, Jane Daniels, prayers up to you, man. All right, now let's get to the little NBA. Let's get to the National Basketball Association. You guys know NBA is my best sport. It's the most sport I pay attention to. This is the sport I like to cover. And if you guys know me, I hate the word cover, but there's a lot to talk about with the NBA. There's a lot. We can go with the Victor Wembanyama. We can go with the New Orleans Pelicans who are stinking it up. We can go with the Brooklyn Nets who just lost to my Philadelphia 76ers who just got their butt whooped. So let's go to Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama, despite of their loss last night to the Phoenix Suns, Victor Wembanyama has been looking tremendous. Victor Wembanyama is changing the game for the NBA and the San Antonio Spurs. Victor Wembanyama this year, he is averaging what, 27 points per game, 13 boards, and 5 blocks. Victor Wembanyama is averaging 5 blocks, and you guys are probably like, "Yeah, Mitch, he should. He is 7'5", rumored 7'7". He definitely should be getting that many blocks and that many rebounds. But his game is more on the court than box score because he can do a block, take the ball, go the other way, do a double step back, and drain a 3-and-1. Like Victor Wembanyama is changing the game. This guy is not even human. I don't even think he's from this planet. I think he's from another planet. Him, his siblings, who are very good at basketball as well. We're gonna see Wembanyama's for the next 20 or 30 years. He's got a younger sister and a younger brother who's tremendous at basketball. So there's that. But what I like the best about Victor Wembanyama right now is the team he is on, the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs, who are known to have a great front court history with Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and just having a great coaching coacher. You know, Greg Popovich is now gone. The Spurs know how to rebuild a team. We've seen it. They have 5 NBA Finals rings. They have 5. And this is actually the first time ever that the San Antonio Spurs are 5-0. This is the first time ever that the Spurs, before they lost to the Suns, they were 5-0. They never did that with Tim Duncan. They never did that with David Robinson. They never did that with Manu Ginobili. They never did that with Tony Parker. This team is being built into something special. You have Dylan Harper, who's actually just got injured, speaking of injuries. And then you have Stefan Castle. And then you have De'Aaron Fox, who is still injured. Like, the Spurs have so many young players that are good. And you do have a mix of vets like Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes has been in this league for God knows how long. It feels like forever at this point. It feels like for God knows how long that he is just going to be in the NBA. So what the San Antonio Spurs are building around Victor Wembanyama, around Dylan Harper, around Stefan Castle, is something that we all should appreciate and especially on how difficult the Western Conference is. The Western Conference is so difficult that the Spurs need to make an impact now. They need to make an impact now, and that's what they're doing. They're one of the best teams in the West as of right now. You got Denver, you got Thunder, you got the Rockets. I can go on how competitive this conference is. And Victor Wembanyama is in a great spot. He's in a great predicament for his career. If I was San Antonio right now, I'll be more than happy for what I've got. It's gonna take them a couple more years to get back to Spurs basketball, but what we have right now, it's just unbelievable. It is just unbelievable. I love what the Spurs are doing. I love watching their games. They're a lot of fun to watch. Coming from a NBA content creator, I stream a lot of NBA games on my main channel. So make sure you subscribe to that. Right there, Miss Toxie. Make sure you subscribe to my main channel for that. But this is a time where you got to sit back and enjoy Spurs basketball because they are building something. The San Antonio Spurs are building something, and we're witnessing it right in front of our eyes. Like, it is so fun watching this team play because, back in the day, they were mostly like slow, they were mostly like slow pace, mostly fundamentals. Now, with this team, is young guns, fast, alley oops, step backs. Like, this team is going to be so much more fun for years to come. For years to come. Yeah, the San Antonio Spurs, they are killing it. They're absolutely killing it. All right. Let's stick to the NBA, right? Let's just stick to the NBA and let's talk about the New Orleans Pelicans, right? The New Orleans Pelicans, they are 0-6, I believe. They are 0-6. They have a Zion Williamson, that guy. Everyone knows who Zion is, right? The Pelicans have a couple of nice players here and there, but it comes down to the front office and the coaching staff because what you see on that court is not what the Pelicans should be doing, right? They got rid of Brandon Ingram. That experiment did not work. Brandon Ingram is playing tremendously over there in Canada in Toronto. I'm going to have a whole video talking about the Toronto Raptors at some point, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But the New Orleans Pelicans, they need to do something. They need to do something. It's just a time. It's just a time that they should trade Zion. Is this maybe a time that you're like, this is not working. Zion can't stay healthy. When he is healthy on the floor, he's great. But maybe there's a time where Zion is like, you know what? It's not going to work. Maybe we got to trade him and start over. I don't want them to go that route. I don't. But again, the coaching needs to be changed. I would not be shocked if Willie Green gets fired by the end of the week. So today's Monday, November 3rd. If Willie Green gets fired by the end of this week, I'm going to say right here on the Miss Kotsky show that I called it. Something dramatic has to change over there in New Orleans. Now, for Brooklyn, on the other hand, I don't know, man. They got so many young pieces over there. They got a lot of first-round picks off the bench. You got Cam Thomas. You got Michael Porter Jr., Nicholas Claxton, who I'm a huge fan of. I love his defense. I love his blocking ability. The Brooklyn Nets, they're not in trouble as the New Orleans Pelicans, but with the Brooklyn Nets, they still got a couple more moves to make. They still got a couple changes here, but I will not be shocked if they don't make any trades this year and just see how this team folds by the end of the season or by the trade deadline. By the trade deadline, you can make a move. You can make a move, see where you can go, or get more draft picks and try, get more draft picks and up your stock for this off season, or maybe move up in the draft and try to get a higher draft pick. Because The Brooklyn Nets, they need something. Cam Thomas, this is his qualifying offer year. So with Cam Thomas, right, if he chooses not to come back, that's a big loss for Brooklyn. That's a big loss for Brooklyn. So they need to get their its together before Cam Thomas heads out in this offseason. So again, the Brooklyn Nets needs to just wait and give it time. But with the New Orleans Pelicans, a change has to be made now. A change has to be made now. How many more years do you have with Zion? How many more years? So that being said, New Orleans, make a move. Brooklyn fans, stay put. Brooklyn fans, don't panic. All right. Now, before we get into the last topic here, before we get into the WWE, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the Hardcore Sports Network. Share out the Miss Coxie show because I'm going to take a lot of time on this show. I'm going to build it up. I'm going to really love this. Like, I'm taking my pride and joy into this, and hopefully you guys like it too. And again, make sure you guys like this video. Like it. All right. Now, we got to get into the WWE, right? The WWE, if you guys don't know, I've been a huge fan of the WWE for as long as I can even remember. For as long as I can even remember. So, the WWE, I met John Cena years ago. I'm just giving you guys my background right now. I met John Cena, my favorite of all time, my GOAT, and I just loved watching wrestling, right? But now, this is John Cena's retirement tour. This is his last year of wrestling forever. I don't think he's going to actually come back and wrestle a match or two, like how these wrestlers say like they're done, they're not coming back, but once they get the paycheck, they're like, oh, I'm back. Look at Saudi Arabia with DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. Look at that. Look how bad that was. Look at Undertaker versus Goldberg. I can go on and on. But when you look at John Cena's retirement tour, has it been a success? No. Has it been a failure? No. It has a lot of good and a lot of bad. Like good, we've seen John Cena as a heel. We've seen him cut tremendous promos for Randy Orton, CM Punk. We've seen great matches with AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes. I'll throw in Logan Paul in there. Logan Paul, you get a toss. Logan Paul, you get a piece of candy. You're in there too. But this is the time where John Cena announces the retirement tour tournament. This tournament consists of wrestlers from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and wrestlers from other companies that they don't work with. So that includes TNA, AAA. I feel like a lot of those wrestlers like Joe Hendry, I feel like Nick Nemeth, Matt Cardona, those kind of wrestlers are going to be involved in this tournament. Now, there's just one wrestler that everyone is talking about, and that is Edge. You guys know that Edge is in AEW right now. He's just been running off right now because his contract's supposed to be up. I don't know the exact date of his contract and when that's going to be up, but it lines up perfectly with John Cena's retirement match on December 13th in Saturday Night's Main Event. It aligns perfectly. But what are the odds? What are the odds that Edge comes back and wrestles Cena for the last time? What are the odds? I'm going to say slim. I'm going to say slim on that. So, with Edge being out of the picture right now, who do I have winning this tournament? Who do I have winning this tournament? I'm gonna hate myself for saying this. A lot of people are watching this in the comment section. They're gonna hate this too. It's gonna be Gunther. I feel like it's gonna be Gunther because his last match, he did get injured before he was written off. He has a broken nose, but now he is scheduled to come back during the Cena's retirement tour or a retirement tournament. With that, right, he's supposed to come back. He already retired Goldberg. So if he comes back and retires Cena as well, that is going to be crazy. You know that this match between Gunther and John Cena, that is going to be crazy to watch. That's going to be crazy to watch. And we all know Cena's probably going to put Gunther over, and then Gunther can go on and say that he retired Goldberg, that he retired John Cena, the greatest ever to do it, that fits his character, that fits him. And Gunther is just his build is like one of the he's built like a true heel. He is built like a guy who can wrestle. He's built like a guy who can cut a fantastic promo. He's just like a perfect heel as a robot. You guys, if you guys get that reference, you will get it. But I'm telling you guys right here, right now, Gunther versus Cena, I'm gonna be so emotional during that match because you guys know I'm the biggest John Cena fan. I got autographs, I got pictures, everything. I don't want this to happen, man. I don't want this to happen, but it looks like it's gonna be Gunther. Now, there's other possibilities of who else it could be. It could be Obafemi. Imagine Obafemi against John Cena. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Austin Theory if he comes back. Probably not Austin Theory, but Carmelo Hayes. There's a lot of young guys you can put over off of this match. We've already seen AJ Styles. To me, that should have been the final match, honestly, because you know their history. You know they can put on a fantastic performance. Cody Rhodes, that match was good, but this is where he's got to build a young guy to go over, and I feel like that's going to be Gunther. So let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about John Cena's tournament, of his retirement tournament, which starts next week, next Monday, not tonight, next Monday. That is when it starts. So I can't wait to see who's in this tournament, the matches, the combinations. I can't wait for all that. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you guys liked this first episode of the Mitch Kopsky Show. Hopefully you guys like it, man. There's going to be more coming. Appreciate you all being here. This is going to be a fun show. MK out. Peace.